Daniel Davis. He's host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube. He's also a retired lieutenant colonel from the Army. And Gerald Feierstein, a distinguished senior fellow at the Middle East Institute and a former U.S. ambassador to Yemen. Great to have both of you with me. Ambassador, we know that there are about 500 to 600 Americans stuck in Gaza. There was supposed to be a deal. We think this is what Antony Blinken has been doing out of the Middle East, that Egypt would open that Rafah gate, allow water, clean water in, and the Americans to come out. But the gate remains closed. What's going on?
Well, apparently there is a lack of clarity between Israel and Egypt about ensuring the security of the crossing to make sure that that Israeli military operations don't affect the opening or don't put at risk the people who are managing the crossing or trying to get through. So I'm sure that this is something that Secretary Blinken is working on very hard to try to make sure that both the Israelis and the Egyptians are doing what they need to do in order to get that crossing open, both for the safe evacuation of Palestinian Americans as well as delivering humanitarian supplies inside Gaza.
Yeah, Colonel, I guess people are, what's so hard about this? Why can't Egypt just open the gate? It's hard to imagine why this is so difficult.
I got to tell you, I'm the same exact way as you are, because truly, it really isn't that hard. If there's political will, this thing could happen in an hour, maybe even less than that. And frankly, this is one of the things that's somewhat concerning to me about our diplomatic abilities in the region, because you've had Secretary Blinken kind of being embarrassed in Riyadh when bin Salman, the leader there, made him wait hours before he actually came to meet him. And then he's been talking to the Egyptian leaders, al-Sisi, and that has not borne any obvious fruit. And it seems like we're having a hard time doing things that ought to be a little bit easier. And just getting that gate open and getting Americans out of there doesn't seem like it should be that hard of a lift. But the fact that it is shows that some of our influence is starting to wane.
But widen the lens a little bit here, Colonel. I mean, Egyptians aren't in any rush to help the Palestinians either, who are suffering this humanitarian crisis. They have refused to allow any Palestinians to enter Egypt. Why is that? I'd like you to weigh in, and then the ambassador.
Sure. The Egyptians have long resisted having any Palestinians come in there because, number one, especially Hamas, they've got long bad blood with them because they're related to within some of the organizations, the Muslim Brotherhood within Egypt, that they don't like at all. And the Egyptians say, hey, look, we've already got like 7 or 8 million refugees in our country from all over the place. We don't want any more. And they probably don't want any Hamas slipping through and coming into that area as well. But, the issue is that they do have a large convoy of food, which you showed on the screen a second ago. There is food that's ready to go in there. So why those doors can't be open to at least let that in is another question I'd like to have an answer to.
Ambassador, what is that, though? We keep hearing about, all these concerns, and they are very important, serious concerns about civilian casualties inflaming the Arab world. And yet no one in the Arab world is doing anything to help the Palestinians in this case either.
Well, I think, again, we're in a particular moment in time where it's very difficult for the other Arab states to really engage. Much of the relief supplies that you were just showing actually come from the UAE and from other Arab states. So they are trying to be helpful. The Qataris are involved in trying to mediate and to try to find ways to move forward on getting the hostages released, as well as some of the other things. So a number of Arab states are getting involved. The colonel is right in saying that the Egyptians have serious concerns. They're worried that if they open the gate, all of a sudden 1 million Palestinians are going to be flooding in. They're already dealing with a terrible economic situation. They've got millions of Sudanese who are coming across the border down there. And so they're kind of struggling a little bit to try to manage all of this. But I think that, the fundamental point is that we need to get past this particular moment and get into a situation where the other Arab states can get engaged, can provide support, and try to help the Palestinian people, as well as advance some kind of a political process.
And finally, Colonel, I just wanted, obviously it's not just an emphasis on getting the 500 to 600 Americans who are living in Gaza out. We think they're American hostages that are, we know that there are American hostages who are being held inside Gaza. Everybody who knows anything about the situation has said this looks very bleak, or this looks very grim. What are the hopes we will be able to find those hostages?
Honestly, I think that we just have to be clear-eyed and sober and honest about what the possibilities are here. They're very low that we're going to get those hostages back, certainly by any kind of a rescue operation, because those kind of things require a great deal of intelligence and time and preparation and knowledge about where they're even being held, and that we don't even have that at this moment. But the other thing is that the Hamas is holding those people for very specific reasons, and I don't think they would hesitate killing any of them if they felt they could get some benefit out of it. And it's just not looking good right now.
Well, thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.